You're on camera.
Just focusing on the biceps.
Yeah, bloody hell, look at those big ones. What are we doing today, Jack?
Don't know what we're doing today, Dad.
What is the plan? You've not
Make
told
sure-
me. I
make
just do as
sure-
I'm told, and you've not told me to do anything yet. So.
Are we sorting out his fit?
We're going to make sure that I fit on that bike properly. And that these fit me properly. Which they should do. Because you told me to buy them.
In that case, they'll be perfect.
Nice jersey.
Thanks, yeah, it's new. It's, I think it's from last time.
Get those out.
No, they don't need to be out for camera, but you can see.
I think they do.
You can see the fingers match perfectly with my toes.
I would like to see them again.
I've got a wedge under one of them, and
Yeah. So maybe we start from scratch.
Yeah. Well, we definitely need to anyway, I think, because one of my SPDs came loose on the last time I rode, so I don't know where. I know it was the one that was at an angle, so I have no idea where that goes anymore.
Goes in the middle.
So I just put it back on, and everything I own rusts.
Little bit of
By
rust.
itself.
I don't know why.
Do you put them in your shed as well?
No, I keep them in my house in my wardrobe.
Is your wardrobe in the shed?
All your shirts and trousers rusted as well.
Yeah, everything I own rusts. My feet fit well in the shoe and the shape.
Yeah. Just lift your big toes up. Yeah.
It's just the heel feels a bit loose. I can wiggle my heels quite easily in them, and then I get a little bit of pain on the outside of my foot, mainly my left foot, which I think is the one that we have the wedge. We had the wedge in, because I think I remember you saying that my hip and my knee has a tendency to go out on my stroke.
Yeah. Because the fit of the shoes is good. Like your big toes aren't exactly down here, so it's not like the shoes are too big.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we just rebake them.
Heels. Rebake the boots.
Yeah.
So we get to turn the oven on.
Yeah. Do you want to do it?
Do
You
it.
seem really excited.
Turn the oven on.
What do I press?
Doesn't know.
What are we doing here, Dan?
We've cooked some shoes.
We've cupped some shoes.
Cooked.
Oh, cooked, sorry.
So these shoes have a mouldable heel cup. So we're shaping that to Jack's dainty foot.
I am Cinderella and this is my prince. And this is my slipper.
So all of that, so this sort of triangular section here, is all shapeable to the heel. As Jack was saying, his heel's slipping a little bit, but the fit of the shoe looks really good. Like it's not too big, not too wide or anything like that. So we can just nip this in a little bit.
Mould my shoes.
You can see how it's like, I don't know if it can pick it up on the
Yeah,
camera.
it can. See the dent in
I
it?
don't really think it was that moulded before.
No.
Today, we're doing a bike fit on Jack's bike. It's a bit different. Jack is now going to be in front of the camera more, and I'm going to be behind the camera. There he is, wearing a nice jersey. How long have you had this bike for now?
I got it in October.
And and you set it up initially based on a brief discussion with Dan, right?
Kinda, yeah. Well, he had my sizings and fit from my previous bike, and he suggested that I get this size frame set, and then everything else has just been done on what I feel isn't too uncomfortable.
So that's saddle height, position of the handlebars,
Yeah, position of the bars.
position of shifters and
I
stuff.
got a narrower bar when I got it built because it came with 44s and I knew that was way too wide.
So what
I
width are
got
those bars?
40s, I believe.
Nice.
And I think that's what I had on my previous bike as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not been horrendous to ride. It's been relatively comfortable, but there's definitely a point where I start getting into longer rides and it's not as comfortable as it should be. But I've had some fun on it. I've fallen off it a few times.
It's a gravel bike, you're supposed to crash.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully I'll just be more comfortable the next time I fall off.
You got a new saddle?
I've got a new saddle in my hand.
What is
Just arrived yesterday, hot off the Royal Mail van.
Royal Mail, not DPD, not UPS?
No, it was Royal Mail.
Royal Mail, okay.
Royal Mail. It's the new Biomechanical saddle called the Stride Road. So before they had the Stride, which was their TT saddle, and then they had like a range of road bike saddles. But then they designed this one specifically as a mix between their TT saddle and their road saddles to support aero positions on a road bike. So if you ride very aggressively on a road bike or you race, then this might be a good option.
It looks a lovely looking saddle.
It's a nice looking saddle, which is obviously the most important thing about a saddle. It's got to look nice.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether it's comfy or not. It's just got to look good on the bike.
Yeah. No, it is but I mean, as you've already said to me off camera, you think it was going to work for a lot of people.
I think it might, yeah.
Especially racers.
Yeah, I rode it quickly yesterday just to get a feel for it, and I think it looks similar in shape to...
Wait, did you ride it quickly as in you rode fast, or you rode quickly as in you did a quick ride? Like a little ride?
Both.
Okay.
It looks very similar in shape to some saddles that suit a lot of people in those sorts of positions, so I think it should work well for those types of riders. It's like every saddle, like it'll suit the people that are right for it, and it won't suit the people that aren't, but I think for what it's designed for, it'll work very well.
My left foot with that cleat now, it's like...
Yeah, that left cleat is definitely not right, mate.
Maybe we just put it straight before we do anything.
Yeah. Do you like to pedal facing with your foot into the frame?
I think that's shouldn't be like that, mate.
Well, I haven't ridden like that. Just for anyone that's concerned.
What do these dots do?
Nothing. Was it you when I first put them on? Was like, oh, so are these like LED sensors or something?
That was not me.
Someone said that.
They're actually the stoppers that you put on under the legs of chairs. They
would work. Yeah.
Little felt stoppers.
Well, it was me who said to you that whenever Tim did my fits back in London, he used to put them in various places, and I would find them for about a month.
Yeah. Which is normally the case. But no, they're just so they are certain parts of your anatomy is visible when we take some video footage.
Not that part. So 3 bits on the foot.
Yeah, a couple on the foot, one on the ankle, centre of the knee, this foot down to the bottom, and then one on the hip. So these are all like bony landmarks that we want to use to sort of measure your position, if you like, if we were ever going to measure it.
This is old Jack. You look cooler now.
It must have been cold in there.
What are you looking at here?
Your face.
feels way worse on here than it does when I'm actually riding. I feel like I'm all over the place, yeah.
What feels wobbly?
Well, I'm side to side. I feel like I'm
doing this.
Going from side to side a lot. I feel like the reach for me feels quite far forwards. Like I can't really. It takes a lot of. Yeah, just doesn't feel as good when I'm on here.
Your body, so on the road when you're riding outside, the bike moves more from side to side than it will do on there.
Yeah.
So it's like when you ride on turbo, your pressure is always more static. So a lot of people struggle with like saddle problems or neck, shoulder issues, hand problems because their pressure's not moving about as much on the road. So even out on the road when you're cornering or dodging potholes or just moving side to side a little bit, your pressure is changing. Yeah. Your shoulders like so far forward, let's drag your shoulder blade up, these muscles get short, your neck has to extend a bit more.
I always feel like my most comfortable if I was here. That feels like way more relaxed.
Yeah.
It's just the depth of that bar.
You look a bit long.
Yeah.
I wonder that's the part where if you're ever going to get foot problems, that's the bit. Because you get a big flare out around this metatarsal.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I just have longer. I just have like diddier toes in length.
So the widest part of your foot is through your metatarsals.
Yeah.
The widest part of Jack's foot is through the forefoot.
So I've got spades, he's got trenches.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Are my feet literally close to the shape of a hand?
Yes.
And like they're wider at the base of the
Yes.
and then they go really narrow, really quickly.
You do have hand feet.
My name's Jack. Nice to meet you.
You have that contact rather than having a little gap. Close that down so you can actually push through it. And as if by magic, it's the wrong size. Take it back.
What size did I go for?
45 to 46. That's the wrong. Don't mess up my system.
That was where it was.
No, it was not.
It was there.
Dare you?
It was there.
Well, in that case, someone else has messed up my system.
Jen. That's not me.
These are some moldable insoles. So custom moldable, so we can shape them to Jack's foot. So basically the idea is that we're going to bridge this gap that's under Jack's arch so that he's got contact on the inside of his foot, so he's actually got something to press against rather than just pressing against the outside of your foot. 'Cause if you imagine that's your flat shoe on your flat pedal, and if you've got an arch with a bit of a height to it, the only place you can push into the pedal is either through your toes or through the outside of your foot, because the inside of your foot has got this big gap. So it either has to collapse to get to the bottom of the shoe, or you bridge it with an insole, so you've got complete contact, stability, support, and you can push through a bigger area of your foot into the pedal.
If it's collapsing, is that going to also probably cause some of the hot feet, numbness, all that kind of thing as well?
So if your foot collapses, that's a different problem. If your arch collapses, that's a different problem. So you'd still want an insole, but there's different types of insoles. I mean, these are a solid arch support, and you can get some that are more suspension-like. But for Jack, we want the solid base of support for his foot. The support in the shoe was previously done by these, which aren't amazingly supportive.
They look not great.
Yeah, they're the same as what comes with every other shoe when you buy them stock, which is just a bit of foam. Because, in fairness, I'd like it if there was something different, but the shoe brand doesn't know what foot is going to go in that shoe, so it can't make an insole to come as stock with every shoe because it's not going to be right for everyone.
Completely.
So they have to provide a bit of foam, but it's just inadequate for most people who ride. Some people will be fine, but other people need a bit more. The big problem is that the saddle setback is way too far back.
Yeah.
Inline seat post.
Maybe. We'll see. But we just need to get you a lot further forward. You're basically pedaling.
I feel like I'm pedaling forwards almost.
Yeah, like you're reaching at the front part of the pedal stroke.
Yeah.
Out here and almost pushing yourself away from the pedal. So by the time you get to the bottom, you're overextending. Yeah. So I said before, your saddle looks too high, but actually it might just be that your saddle's too far back. Okay, as soon as you bring the saddle forward, hip will get closer to your foot, and that's lowering your saddle height effectively. Yeah. So I think we do that first and see, get your saddle set back in a position that we would like to end up in, and then see what the saddle height looks like after that.
So basically we need to put Jack's saddle forward.
Yes.
And depending on how far forward it needs to go, might mean that he needs to have an inline seat post or something as well.
Yeah, potentially. But the beauty about this bike is that it has a round seat post.
I know, right?
Any seat post in, if you need an inline post, or the opposite, if you want a layback post and it's got an inline.
Question.
Put any seat post in.
Could you not just spin it round?
Yeah, you literally could. I mean, it would look horrific.
But you say that, but
like structurally, it would work though, right? It would bring you.
The other thing, I mean, with it being gravel bike, the other downside of doing that is that you lose that.
The suspension to it.
Yeah, that lever. Yeah.
So Demi Vollering is riding her seat post the other way around on her current bike, and everyone was like, "Oh, what's she doing? It's just to do with fit." Yeah. It's quite a setback, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, without measuring it, it's probably like 20-25 mil, something like that. We'll check his saddle pressure because we're going to move the saddle around a lot now. So as we're doing that, it would be good to keep an eye on what happens to his saddle pressure and where he sits, and because Jack was saying, he's got some saddle issues. So moving the position of the saddle is going to change his saddle pressure a lot. So we'll see where it ends up once we've got a saddle position.
Red is bad, right?
No, not necessarily. We want some heavy pressure, or heavier pressure than other areas, because we want bone on saddle, and that's going to that's going to give us our like contact points. If it's all sort of low pressure and spread a lot around the saddle, then that's probably meaning we've got some soft tissue pressure, which is never good.
This is the before, is it?
Yeah, so this was old Jack.
Old Jack, yeah.
And the only thing we've moved is the saddle setback. So we've moved this saddle forward. We do a little overlay on that, it'll give us a better idea as to the difference, because there is a big difference. So the colour image is old Jack, and the black and white image is where I've ended up now. So you can obviously see his hips have moved forward a lot, but the big thing for me in terms of comfort is that the angle or shape of his back here has completely changed. So his neck isn't having to do as much work, his shoulders shift forward, and we've got way less reach through the upper back. And because we've moved the saddle forward, his saddle height now looks really, really good. Like way less pointing with the toes compared to...
Well, there he looks really toey, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a bit toey. Because he was like pushing away and pushing a lot.
I can see what you say now when you see it like there, when you said it earlier.
Yeah.
Really noticeable.
Yeah, when you have the two to compare against, it makes everything look really obvious. But so from a saddle position point of view, I'm not going to do anything else. That's good. If you want to be a world tour mechanic, just buy a drill. So saddle forward, front end up, and that is the only two changes we've made so far, but we've got a massive difference in body position, which is normally the case. Like you move a couple of things around and you get a big shift. But shoulders and neck, way more relaxed versus that. So that was a big thing with Jack. And then his back position's obviously way less stretched out here.
Yeah.
So much more chill. We can actually see his neck now, whereas before his shoulders were so far forward, they were in his beard. Now we can see a neck.
This is a funky looking tool.
It's a rear mech hanger alignment tool.
With a hat.
Yeah, with an attachment on the end to go in your steerer, so we can use it to make your shifters symmetrical.
It's another position for the hand when I'm riding. It's my TT bar.
Just one.
So we line it up to that one, and then we can match this one to the other. I have moved that one.
Oh, okay.
That's not how you had it set up.
Right,
don't worry.
Okay. I was gonna say
it wasn't that bad.
That was terrible.
If you didn't have one of these tools, how else could you do this? Spirit level?
Spirit level would get you the height, but then the angle would be difficult. I would do it with a tape measure, like pick a point on the shifter and measure to the center point of something, whether it's your stem or your steerer or whatever, or even your Garmin mount, and then replicate that over there. But again, it could be you could get the same measurement in a different position, so it's a little bit hard. But that would be the next best thing, I would say.
Ooh, it's very different.
Yeah, now it doesn't look great.
Yeah. It's got very left-sided, isn't it?
That left side, that's the area where I feel that kind of pain.
The left side?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it. We just found out, Dan.
This has got a flippable saddle clamp, which we can change the setback of the seat post. So it was on 25mm, and we can change it to 15 by turning this clamp around.
That's very clever.
It's clever. I mean, the position that we had was good, but the rails of the saddle were right on the end of the clamp, or the clamp was right on the end of the saddle. So if we spin it, it'll just give us 10mm of rail, rather than having to run your saddle right on the end. You can run it more in the middle, which is better all round.
Well done, Argon.
Well done, Argon.
Very cleverly designed, Argon 18.
Good job.
Two-way post. New saddle?
Yeah, trying some saddles. So we're trying a saddle with more of a drop down the edges. Well, two things. It's really flat from left to right. There isn't much curvature that way. And then the wings of this saddle flare out a lot. So for thigh clearance, that's not amazing. You're catching that part of the saddle all the time. So the saddle we're trying is very similar shape. It's just got a drop down the sides. So profile from the top's the same. Just trying that drop and see what happens. But testing saddles is trial and error. As long as you measure the difference between each one and then keep improving, then that's the aim.
And this is why coming to a bike fit is good, because they have lots of saddles to be able to go through, and you have the experience to recommend certain things for people.
Yeah, not just that. I mean, I think you can sit on any saddle for a minute, 5 minutes, half an hour, and it feels okay. But without that objective data, as well as the rider's feedback, it's very hard to know what saddle to buy when you're just seeing it in the shop or seeing it online, and you don't have that choice, so a chance to test it out properly. Whereas this gives us a much better idea of what saddle's going to suit you before you go and ride it for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
So you buy the right saddle the first time, rather than wasting money and time going through saddle after saddle after saddle.
Which is, I think that's a barrier to cycling for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. They think, my saddle is a problem, I need a new saddle. But there's 1,001 saddles out there, it's an absolute minefield, and they don't know what to buy because saddles aren't cheap. It's a very big expense to just go and plump for a saddle and think, I hope that works. And the chances that one that you've chosen out of the thousands that are available is the one is very slim. So yeah, it's a problem.
Doesn't feel as bad as the other one, but I still think on that part of the downstroke coming back up, I can feel pressure under the thigh.
That matches what that looks like, basically.
Yeah.
It's a little bit better than before. The pressures are lower, and there's a better symmetry to your pressure, and the pelvic movement's a little bit more stable. But I think trying a slightly wider saddle might be a good idea.
Okay.
Because you are firmly planted on on those edges.
Yeah.
Trouble with a wider saddle is what we talked about before, those wings can get in the way, but we'll try a few different types and then see what works best.
That's a couple of different saddles then.
That's the original saddle.
Yep.
In the new position. And that's the Italia saddle, which is marketed as a lady saddle, but there's nothing lady about it, it's just a different shape. And some lady saddles suit men, and some men's saddles suit ladies, and there's a big crossover, but that looks really good. Much better symmetry of pressure, much more even, horizontal pelvic movement, central channel, no pressure up the nose.
You look at them next to each other, you can really see the difference, can't you?
Yeah.
No, we just need to position it, because this will slightly change your saddle height and your setback. So we'll put it on, get you doing some riding, and then get the position back to where it was, and then we'll be good. Top tip: when you change your saddle, it will change your saddle height and probably the setback. So don't just change your saddle. Make sure that the height is as it was before you change the saddle.
Why is that?
Difference in where you sit on the saddle, difference in stack height between the rail and the top of the saddle, difference in padding depth. That's about it.
Fit done, what are you doing now?
Measuring things, just getting its position documented. So you can always get this bike back to the same position, and then you can also use the measurements of the bike and some of the components that are on it to work out frame geometries for future purchases if you ever bought a new bike. So
very nice.
Next week, isn't it?
Oh yeah! Yeah, mate! Fantastic.
So new saddle, new saddle position,
New saddle position, slightly different bar position.
higher on the front.
Slightly higher. New insoles in the shoes. Made sure the cleats are in the right position. And now I'll never stop. This is it.
Just gonna be here.
Forever.
It's a gravel bike, you got to ride it outside. We're now going to actually photograph this very special jersey, which hopefully by the time this video goes live will be available to pre-order. I'm putting pressure on you now.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you've got to edit the photos.
When? By when? Pre-order goes when?
It's not live yet, you've got time. But when this video goes live, it's live.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
The year is 2028.
Jack's fit is done. That looks great.